Hello and welcome to Idaho Bigfoot. I'm your host, Jeb. I just wanted to talk real briefly about my channel, Idaho Bigfoot. On Idaho Bigfoot, you will see all sorts of content. We'll go over whether or not certain cryptids exist, like the Gugway. Just recently came out with a two-part series about the Gugway, which, if you don't know, is a creature that's supposedly from Micmac lore, which is like a Sasquatch in build, but has more of a baboon or bear-like face. And we talk about whether or not such a thing is logical, whether or not such a thing exists, and whether or not something like that could exist. And we go into the different explanations for how it might exist, and the different reasons why I think it doesn't exist. And we go all over that topic, but we keep it moving, and there's a lot of information that you can glean from it. And I think videos like that are very important. All too often in the field of cryptozoology, we'll hear about a cryptid, and we'll talk about a photo that exists, and we'll talk about whether or not that photo or video is real, but we don't really go into whether or not the cryptid itself is real, except for the, eyewitnesses have seen it, we have a photo of it, so it's probably real. And then you have the, no one's ever caught a video of it, it's not very good if there is one, yada, 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 it doesn't exist. Well, which one's accurate? Well, you only really hear the believer and the skeptic point of view. But actually going into it scientifically, is there any precedence for this creature? Is there any way that it makes sense, logically, biologically? All sorts of things on that topic. And so those are the types of topics and details that we go over on this channel. We don't just say, I feel like it exists, so I guess. We actually go into it. And, I don't want to sound too critical, but that idea of, let's just kind of talk about it and, I guess, is very prevalent in this field. And so going over actual information I feel is very important, kind of balancing the scales, so to speak. Not just the podcast type discussion on it, but actual informative discussion, but I also want to keep it moving. I don't want it to be a bore fest. So that's what this channel does. And we also go into different explanations for Bigfoot and go over different theories. Sometimes you'll hear theories that just really don't make sense. And I'll go over why. And we do that for all sorts of cryptids. And on Bigfoot itself, specifically, we've done videos about different theories surrounding Sasquatch. For example, I did a video entitled Why I Believe Bigfoot Cannot Cloak, and Mindspeak Debunked. And that video went all into the different reasons why, scientifically and just logically, why I believe Bigfoot cannot cloak. And we show you those reasons, and we go over it as thoroughly as I could. And I also go over the Mindspeak thing, which is really just telepathy, talking to someone in their mind. Why that doesn't make sense, but what I believe is being seen as a cloaked entity, and what I believe people are hearing. And not just saying, it was a bear. Actually giving the eyewitnesses some credit here and honoring them, because I believe people really are seeing something. But what is that something? I went into it in that video. I've also done videos on why Bigfoot are not the Nephilim. And that video was done from the perspective of the Bible. What does it say biblically? Is there any information that you can glean that would support that theory? And the fact is no. And the few citations that are there for that theory, we go over what they are logically saying, why I believe the idea that Bigfoot are in the Nephilim is not only not upheld by the Bible, but actually is one of the very few theories in the field of Bigfoot research where the source material for that theory says that the theory is wrong. And we go into all sorts of information on that one, and we will continue to do videos on that line of thought as well. But we'll also go into different topics like how aggressive are Sasquatch, and going over the different behavioral traits that you'll find. And Missing 411 is the one that we just did. And we go into what precedence there is for kidnapping people as far as apes go, and why, if they're more human, it would make sense as well from a biological standpoint, because if they're bipedal, they may have issues with reproduction, and therefore may see people as viable breeding stock, and going into that. And we'll continue to do more of those. So this channel really tries to dig in deep, not just do a quick Google search and take the most recent suggestion and just kind of read it and go, well, I guess that's true. but genuinely dig in deep. And I've found sources that no one has talked about before and shown them to everyone. So this channel, I really want to see this kind of content expand for other people as well. I want more people to feel like this is something that they can do. And I want this idea to become prevalent, if not dominate, the Bigfoot field. And that is this: being reasonable while still having critical thought. And not the kind of critical where it's cutting people at the knees and trying to knock them down a peg, but the kind of critical where you look at it with a view of trying to understand it and reason on it and trying to think, can we support this? Or can we kind of take this apart and debunk it? Is this fact or is this fiction? And not doing so in a way that's rude or aggressive, but doing so in a way that is logical and calm and reasonable. And if something is a little out there, but there is reason to believe it, then saying so. Being honest as well. And being able to move with the times. I've seen people who have a theory, it made them popular, and they dug their heels in. Even after information was found that showed that they were wrong, they dug their heels in and they didn't want to say that they were wrong. That's not what I want to see, and that's not who I want to be either. Being able to recognize I was wrong and move forward, apologize, and make it clear why I'm saying what I am, and trying to figure out what is true. That needs to be prevalent in the field. And it is there. There are other YouTube channels just like mine, and I wish them all the success in the world. And I hope that you guys can help support my channel as well. But I also hope that more people see this as an opportunity to start their own channels as well, and gives them a bit of ground to really build on. So on this channel, you will see all sorts of good informational content that will hopefully help you learn something. Even if you don't believe in Bigfoot, that's okay. And if you strongly believe in Bigfoot, but you disagree with me, that's okay too. And that's the other thing about my channel, is I try to be reasonable. I want people to have discussion. I want people to have different opinions. If we all just said the same things again and again, that wouldn't be very original, and that wouldn't add anything to the conversation, would it? So encouraging thought, encouraging discussion, encouraging different viewpoints is something that I'm all about. And encouraging people who maybe disagree with me a little bit to stick around and kind of share their thoughts and build off of each other and learn from each other. And not only supporting people with my viewpoint. So if you guys like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter that I've linked down below, and that way you will get notified every time I come out with a new video. You can also click the bell icon next to the subscribe button, but I suggest the newsletter because I give out the notification that way. YouTube likes to censor me. I have 2 YouTube channels, and both of them, YouTube does not like to give out notifications for them, so I've gone to the newsletter format. We'll see how it goes. But I stand by it, and I'm hoping that everyone will put their email in there and periodically check it, because it may end up in the spam folder. Knowing email, it will do that. But that way you will actually get notified when I come out with a new video. YouTube likes to shadow ban, and I don't support that at all. And on the newsletter as well, you'll also get to see posts that I've made on places like Instagram that I have condensed a little bit, sometimes actually added to. I've put more information in there, and you will get to see different pictures along with the topic at hand. You'll get to look at different links and whatnot that I've sourced and cited. And this way you can access the different posts I've made without having to have an Instagram account, because I know a lot of people don't want it, and I understand that. But this way you guys will get notified every time I come out with a new video, and you'll also learn some stuff too, hopefully. So if you guys want to give this channel a chance, I would greatly appreciate that. And for those of you who have been around for a little while, just know that I have a link down below for Buy Me a Coffee, which is something that I was a little hesitant to try and make, but it was actually really simple, and all it does is allow you to donate $3. It goes a long way to help support the channel. I put so many hours into just the research and the scripting for these videos. Then you add in the fact that I film all of them myself, by myself, and then I do all the editing myself, by myself. Sometimes it takes months to put together one video. So that kind of support is really helpful. But even just watching the video, letting an ad or two play, just muting it, going and taking a bathroom break, or maybe getting yourself a cup of coffee or snack and coming back, and just letting the ads play does a lot to support the channel, frankly. But if you guys want to donate a couple bucks, especially if you have YouTube Premium or anything like that, if you're ad-free, that would be greatly appreciated as well. But whatever you guys want to do, if you want to do anything at all, I understand that. It would be greatly appreciated though. So thank you all, and I hope to see you around soon.